Last time in part 1, I showed you how I'm making faux concrete rocks. And I've developed several methods by which I can do this. But all this is just part of the bigger picture of landscaping. And we've begun to plant in the landscaping. This was planted from seed, this little squash. And we planted sunflowers. I bought flowers from the nursery, mostly on sale after the season was over. And it's starting to look really good. And this pathway is going out past the pond. I admit we dug the pond a few years ago, and it only has a little bit of water in it now. But we have pond liner that we got at a great deal. We've also found all these great old windows to replace these ugly windows. The path continues over behind this other barn and past this 2-acre part of our property that we've decided can be a great parking lot. And here we are at one of the old European shops. This one is inspired by Swiss and German architecture. We found a great deal on the barrel, and free windows, and a used door. This will be maybe a candy shop. Well, right now it's full of nails and screws, but you get the idea. Eventually this will be finished out just like any normal shop or house would be. This building had to be held up to keep it out of the high water and also tied down to counteract the wind load. This is an old antique bellows that we found on the property, which is pretty cool. Near this building is an old settling pond used for farm animals, and we're going to make it into a real pond with boardwalk and something piratey or scary in the middle. And speaking of scary, probably a haunted ride or a walk-through attraction of some kind in that old milking barn, and perhaps a pumpkin patch or a little corn maze or maybe just a cube line. And here we can see the haunted mansion. It's actually where we live. It's still being worked on. We added the 3rd story and changed the roof line ourselves. More building materials and an old barrel inside the forest. And we found that all over the property that these lights, these string cafe lights, are absolutely indispensable. More barrels and an awesome old church steeple made by a friend. And look at this. That's kind of pumpkin shaped, don't you think? Yes, it would make a great pumpkin. This is covered in fiberglass, my first attempt. Here we have flower beds and sidewalks, leading us around to the orchards, and finally to the pumpkin patch. Be sure to follow for our Halloween improvements to Frost Hollow Farm.